much for being here. It's an exciting time, and you know, we try to keep the bus very subtle and understated. So I hope that works for you. But just so we kind of test the sound system of some of the media who joined us here today, is there anybody here who's excited about firing Nancy Pelosi? Sound check, ladies and gentlemen. It's an exciting time all over the nation. We're seeing this kind of response, and it's very heartening as the chair of the Washington State Republican Party, my name is Luke Esser, to see that in Washington State, we're going to do our part to fire Nancy Pelosi, and we're going to do it by electing great Republican candidates to Congress like Dick Bury and Doug Cloud. Pierce County is the heart of our efforts in so many different ways. You've got to win Pierce County to be successful in our statewide races and these critical congressional races. Thank you so much for being here. I do want to make note of some of our local leadership. I know that I believe that County Chair Bob Lawrence, the state committee woman, is right there. Andrea Innes from Pierce County. I believe we also have a great candidate for County Auditor, Kent Keel. Well, it's a big day for politics in this part of the state. I know that Patty Burns Democrats are very concerned. In fact, they're so worried that they brought in the person they thought would be the most articulate, best-spoken, silver-tongued advocate that they could get.
Big Joe!
Go Joe! Hey Joe! Vice President Joe Biden. Maybe you haven't been driving, maybe you weren't aware that he's in town. But he is, and he's not letting us down. You know, Joe's is famous for having eaten at Katie's Diner 20 years after it closed. He's famous for having talked about the importance of that critical three-letter word, J-O-B-S. And just yesterday, he kept it up in a speech in Wisconsin to at an event in Wisconsin gubernatorial candidate Tom Barrett. Vice President Joe Biden has said, "You're the dullest audience I've ever spoken to." Vice President, as to paraphrase Forrest Gump, dull is as dull does. You'd be the one to know. But, boy, we have got a lot to be excited about. The Democrats are worried, and they ought to be. And they're worried because they have a terrible performance that they have to try to explain, and they're worried because we have great candidates. And it's my pleasure to start the process of introducing those great candidates. And we're very fortunate to have men of this level of integrity and character running for office. The first one I'm proud to introduce to you is our candidate in the 9th Congressional District. He is a retired United States Air Force officer. He retired as Lieutenant Colonel after more than 22 years of service. For nearly the last decade, he's been serving on the Pierce County Council. He's been a leader on the Performance Audit Committee. He's going to be a great member of Congress, someone we really need representing us. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving an enthusiastic welcome for our next member of Congress in the 9th District, Dick Bury.
Welcome everybody. Wow, the sun just came out. As you all know, I'm running against a guy named Adam Pelosi Smith. It's interesting, Mr. Bass's wife, my cousin, is not moderate, not independent. I wish he stop using all those commercials. He needs to start using the D word when he advertises on the word Democrat, Democrat, LLL. We need to put that message loud and clear. Now, the interesting thing about Adam Smith, he says he's leading by a lot, and he doesn't have anything to worry about, but he's spending all the money attacking me all of a sudden, so I am very honored. One of the things he's attacking me, this is how much he really knows is not running a balanced budget here in Pierce County. Wow, we're not running a balanced budget here in Pierce County? How can that be? He says, by law, we're required to have balanced budgets. Well, in 2009, we ran close to $9 million budget deficit. That was because the year prior, we had a surplus. We have $25, $30 billion in the bank. We spend some time to play balance. I wish Adam Smith understood how local municipal governments work. We cannot run deficits, we cannot balance budgets, and we are fiscally conservative. So, the saying that we have public safety. Again, Adam Smith, I need to have you start looking at our budget. When I first went on the council, we spent about 72% of the general fund on public safety. Today, we're at 78%. This is the longest time in our history when employment rate's been this high, over 90.5% since the Great Depression. So we're now going to have to call this the Obama Great Recession. And Obama and Nancy Pelosi and have to stay there long enough, they will all be able to change the name to a Great Depression. So again, Big Murray, running for Congress, running against Adam Pelosi Smith's voting record. Thank you.
The magic number for the U.S. House is 39. We need to take 39 seats for the Democrats in order to fire Pelosi. So, in Washington State, we can do our part by electing multiple new Republicans to Congress. The next gentleman I'd like to introduce can help us in that regard as well. He's running in the 6th Congressional District. He's an attorney. He's a former deputy prosecutor. He's a student of economics, ladies and gentlemen. Given all the deficit spending and the debt, how badly do we need that today? We need someone who actually understands free market economics. So it's my great pleasure, and please give a very warm welcome to our candidate for Congress in the 6th District, Doug Cloud.
If you have any questions at all about what kind of important times we live in, just look around. We live in historic times, and we have to act like it. And what that means in this era, in this time, is the national leadership has to go. In order for us to get this economy going, in order for us to get our prosperity back, in order for us to be free once again, heads must roll. Careers must end. And Norm Dix and Adam Smith and Patty Murray need to be put in the dustbin of history. You know, there is no question whatsoever that this is the most important political time of our lifetime. And we need to act like it. We need to hit the ground running every day till the election, because we need to get our country back, our lives back, our freedom back, our prosperity back, and our happiness back. The grim, depressing leadership of Nancy Pelosi, Barack Obama, Norm Dix, Adam Smith, and Patty Murray has to end now. We all know best. And that way is voting Republican, voting for Cloud, Murray, and Rossi this year, right now.
Thank you. There's a candidate who I don't know if he just I can't notice him. I want to make sure I recognize a great young candidate, and our next Republican state representative from the 25th District, Puyallup area, Todd Zeiger. It's certainly appropriate that we give a lot of attention to our candidates at events like this, but in putting this event together, we wanted to make certain that we also turn things around a little bit and shine the spotlight on a place that is so critical for our success as a Republican Party, and that's on you all as volunteers. So at this point of the program, I'd like to turn it over to our national committee man for the Republican Party in the state of Washington, all the way from Whatcom County, Jeff Tent.
First of all, thank everybody who came here today, and offer my apologies to you from Chairman Michael Steele. He wanted to be here, he had planned to be here, but unfortunately higher powers stepped in. His wife told him, you can go out on a 6-week bus trip all across the country and have all the fun you could possibly have, but on our wedding anniversary you're coming home. That's a higher power, and so he's on his way home for his wedding anniversary, and he here that all of us in politics know we could never, ever, ever get what we need to get done without them. And I want everybody here who's volunteered for a campaign or volunteered to help out in any way to please raise your hand. If you volunteer, excellent, excellent. Now I'm going to talk about you. Okay, now I'm going to quote or tell you what was told to me by a former Republican National Chairman, Haley Barbour, who's now the governor of Mississippi. We were talking a little while back about how politics has changed over time. And he described politics as pretty much a war, and you go to war with the best weapons you have available. He said one of the things that he's noticed that's changed over time is the weapons have changed. They've become more powerful and they're more numerous now. He said, obviously, there's always been print media, there's been radio ads, there's been television ads. All those are very important weapons in politics. There's also yard signs and billboards. They're very important weapons in politics. Now we have the internet. We have Twitter. We have Facebook. The weapons in politics are just almost too many to count. But he said there's only one nuclear weapon in politics. There's only one nuclear weapon in politics, and that's a grassroots volunteer. The reason that is because by far, bar none, all studies say the most effective way to get your message across and the most effective way to change the voting behavior of another person is when one of their neighbors talks to them. Wow. Yes. Bar none, more than advertising, more than everything else you could possibly spend money on, the most persuasive thing in politics is when one person says to another person, I'm voting for this candidate and here's why. That has more impact than anything, and that makes volunteers the nuclear weapons. The second thing is, there's nothing else that can cause the chain reaction like grassroots volunteers. You people are fissionable material. You can just by yourself create something that ripples throughout the entire campaign. And everybody knows unless we create that effect, unless we create that chain reaction, we're not going to win campaigns. So you people are what we're here to thank today. So please raise your hands and let us clap for you again. Thank you. Three very special volunteers. Very special weapons in politics, and I'd like them to come forward and get themselves their own Fire Pelosi t-shirt, because they will be as responsible for it as anybody. Annie Garrison. All right. Hey. John Jex. John.
Right here.
Hey. Bauman.
That's Kelly.
There she is. Again, thanks everybody.
Again, thank you all for being here. I just can't reiterate what every speaker here has said, how important this election is. Things are looking good for us, but we cannot afford to relax. The Democrats will say anything, do anything, spend anything, hold on to the political power that they crave. So that being said, are you willing to do what it takes to fire Pelosi?
Yeah!
What it takes to elect great Republicans like Dick Murray and Doug Cloud?
Yeah!
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have a lot to smile about on election night. Thank you so much. Please keep up your efforts. We are going to get this done for the sake of our country, for the sake of our state, for the sake of Pierce County. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.